my name is Carmen Phillips, and today I'm going to be presenting to you on imposters. Wait, did I say imposters? Because I meant to say apostrophes. However, that does lead me to my next point, and that is, according to CambridgeDictionary.com, an imposter is a person that pretends to be something they're not in order to deceive others. Now, I don't know about you, but that kind of reminds me of an apostrophe in the aspect that apostrophes can be deceiving at times. Well, I guess it's not really the apostrophe that can be deceiving, but it's the person using the apostrophe that can be deceiving because they put the apostrophe where it doesn't belong in a word, making it, therefore, an imposter. Now, as a little rundown of what I'm going to talk about in my presentation, I will first introduce to you what an apostrophe is and the basic rules of apostrophes and what some educated people say about apostrophes. I will then go into say why the apostrophe has become an imposter in today's society and why we don't have a solid knowledge on how to use apostrophes. So, first things first, according to Kelly Swope, in her article that she writes called Grammar Guidance, she says that apostrophes do not make words plural, but they make them possessive, or they're used to create contractions. So the two main functions of apostrophes are omission and possession. Now up here in this corner, I have examples of contractions, which are omission. So you're shortening words. It's an informal way of writing. And then over here, I have examples of possession. Now, according to Paula LaRoque, in her article that she writes on rules of apostrophes, she says that when it comes to possession, you should always remember that when you have a plural noun, you never put apostrophe in, when you have a plural noun that ends in S, you never put an apostrophe and then an S, you always put an apostrophe after the S that's already there. And this right here, dog's hair, is a prime example of that. Dogs is a plural noun, and she put the apostrophes after the S. So the hair of the dogs, of symbolizing that possession there. She also says that when you have singular nouns, you just simply put an apostrophe and then an S. Paula LaRoque also says that you should always remember that when you have possessive nouns, you never include an apostrophe in possessive nouns. And over here, I have some examples of possessive nouns, like yours, hers, it's, theirs. Those are common mistakes that people tend to make as they put apostrophes in possessive nouns when they don't belong there. So, I don't know about you, but the first thing that I think of that could have caused why we don't have a basic understanding of apostrophes today is history. But first, what I want to share with you is some of my research that I've conducted. This is a sample of the quiz that I passed out to students here at Mount Union. I passed it out to English majors and non-English majors, and I found that none of the students made mistakes when it came to contractions. All of the students knew how to use them correctly, but they made mistakes when it came to plural possession and apostrophe use. That was really the only mistake that I found in these quizzes. So, now to the history part. According to Keith Davidson, a member of the National Association for Teaching English, he says that the apostrophe was first coined in the 16th century when it was used in classical writings for omission and using contractions. It was then in the 17th century that they began using it for singular nouns and possession. And then later on in the 17th century, they began using it for plural nouns and possession. And that was when the confusion began, because people understood the contractions and then they just started adding more rules, and then no one ever got a solid foundation on apostrophes. However, Makita Brutman says in her article, Apostrophe Epiphany, that there was never really a golden age when people ever understood apostrophes. But Charles Larson would disagree with that, because in his article, It's Academic or Is It?, he writes that generations under 35 do not know how to use apostrophes correctly. But he would argue that generations above 35 do know how to use apostrophes correctly. So as you can see, it's kind of a controversial topic, and many educated people have different views on it. The next thing that has shaped how our lack of correct usage of the apostrophe is education. Now, according to Christine Cavella and Robin Kernodle, they say that what teachers do wrong is they're handing students a never-ending list of apostrophes and the exceptions to the rules and expecting students to read those and then understand it. And that's obviously not working. So they suggest that they take a different approach to it and just kind of word it a little differently. Now, this is something that I did earlier on in my presentation when I was talking about the possession. I worded it a little differently. So I said it was the dog's hair. Instead, I said the hair of the dogs, of symbolizing that possession. That's just a way to get it to register a little differently in students' brains. And then next, which is, in my opinion, one of the biggest things, is the apostrophe in the public eye. Corporate businesses, schools, academic institutions, and publishing houses are using apostrophes incorrectly. They're putting them incorrectly on signs for everyone to see. So that includes young children that are just learning about apostrophes and people our age that maybe don't know how to use them completely but sort of do. And then we see what people that we consider credible sources using them wrong, and then we question our usage of them, which in turn affects our usage of apostrophes. So for example, I don't know about you, but when I drive past McDonald's, I would consider them a credible source, considering that they're one of the most successful industries in the world. I would think that they would know how to use an apostrophe in the word lattes, but it seems that they do not. So, according to Makita Brutman, apostrophes are fetishes. We love to worship them, but in fact, they are arbitrary and redundant. They are disappearing too, although very slowly, mainly in street signs and the names of stores and buildings. So, I want to leave you with a thought to ponder. Some educated authors and writers believe that we could do without apostrophes in our language, and some believe that they're absolutely necessary. So I just want to leave you thinking, do you think that we could be fine without apostrophes in our language today? Would it make sense if we didn't have them, or are they absolutely necessary? These are my image attributions along with my works cited. Thank you for watching.